Wow, hello everybody. It's really a great pleasure. It's an honor for me to be with you today, to be able to share my story, my dreams. Of course, a lot of difficult moments, but fortunately, some success. But before to start, I want to tell you a little bit about my life. I came to Paris when I was 5 years old. My father is Algerian, my mother Greek, and they were not rich at all. They were actually a little bit poor, even they had a lot of debts. But they are artists. So we were living in a small house, and the only thing my parents care is more to live at the present. And they were thinking, even if we don't have money, the small money that we have, we are going to use it for life experience. So, for example, we crossed the Atlantic with a small boat. We went to the Amazon doing pirogue. They were like really on margin of the society. And they had that crazy, mad idea to never send me to school. I know it sounds crazy, but I mean really never, ever. Not even, when I was a little child. I have like no education. I didn't know any language until the age of 20. And on the top of that, my parents have, no network, no business experience, no media experience, they just lived at the present thinking it's, future, it's always positive if you follow your dreams. And on the top of that, I had like a very successful brother. So when I was younger, I was, kind of not confident. I was really not believing in myself. And my brother, he was like a famous, actor. He was even on roller. He was better than me. And I'm not even talking about the girls. They were all his. So as you can see, when I started my life, I didn't have much chance to be successful, except one thing. My education. I had kind of like a freedom education that let me think out of the box without any fear of the future. My parents, they were just following their instinct, and they were saying, we see a little photo there when I was younger. They were just saying, you have to follow your dream. If you follow your dream and you work hard, everything is possible in this life. So you don't have to be scared of the future. Just work more than anybody else and follow your dreams. And my biggest dream was to do roller, to become a roller champion. When I was younger, I didn't believe it was possible. Nobody believed it. And actually, since I was not believing in myself, it was even worse. So the first competition I did, I could not make it good. I was not in the final. And fortunately, life gave me a second chance at that moment because one of the contestants in the final broke his leg just before the final. So I was back in the final, no time to stress myself. I did everything perfect and finished second. And fortunately, at that moment, I realized that it's possible. So, from that moment, my life changed, and I started, to do so many things. I played piano. I was a professional magician, even for a few years. I played tennis for many years, and I have no problem sometimes to lock myself in a room, even for 10 years, at 15 hours per day to achieve a dream. Only the end result count, not the time that I do for it. And since I dedicate so much for rollerblade, fortunately it happened. The sport became successful. I became world champion, traveled all around the world, and won the famous X Games. The X Games is like the Olympic game of extreme sport. Let me show you a little video clip. So you can see I was traveling like that for 10 years, and it was great, but I could very easily stay in my comfort zone, kind of, thinking, okay, I can still be the champion for the eyes of the people. But I like to think, today I'm a champion of rollerblade, and maybe tomorrow I will be an actor or a businessman. I like to really see myself that I have many different jobs. And especially when I was going to big parties and I was sitting next to famous soccer players and stuff like that, I could see that the road is really long because they have everything on the plate. You know, they have the agent there ready for them, the lawyers that do all the contract, all the journalists that came from there, the sponsor, of course. And again, I'm not talking about the girls, of course. So, you know, I thought that it was not fair because I was world champion in my sport and I was thinking, God, I deserve as much as they deserve. But since I don't have so much advantage, I went to a mission. Fortunately, I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, so I could work non-stop day and night for years, and I decided to learn everything, to be able to read myself all the contract, to understand because I could not pay for lawyers, to be able to improve myself in front of camera, to catch more journalists. I mean, just to try everything, to have more opportunity, call the different manager, sponsor to get more, you know, more contract, everything. And as you can imagine as well, it's a dangerous sport. And I just had like everything broken, let me tell you. So I got operated 2 knee, of course, 2 shoulders, 2 wrists, the hips broken, the necks almost twice, the nose 3 times, ribs, fingers, ankle, of course. What else? Yeah, kind of. I lost, of course, memory many times because I fell. And but you know, there were a moment where I spent almost 2 years in the hospital, you know, back to back with injuries, and I was thinking, God, the sport is kind of me pushing me away because I have to find something else after the sport is not going to last forever. So in my hospital bed, I was thinking maybe I can create a stationery collection for kids. For a guy that never went to school, it's quite funny. But you know, so I called like big companies that buy image for the kids, and they told me, you know what, you're not doing a super famous sport. If you were doing tennis or soccer, then it will be easier. But extreme sport is not enough. So I hang up and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. You know the chain store Carrefour, it's like Walmart, it's the big chain store. So I just called the national number of Carrefour, got the buyer on the phone, convinced him to get a meeting. I was operated 3 days ago, so I mean, it was a nightmare, but still, I got the chance to have that meeting. Of course, I knew nothing about stationery, had no company, knew nothing about chain store, had no factories, I mean, nothing, but I had the hope to create something. And it worked. First year, I created a company, we made 350,000 euro. After 3 years, the company crossed the million euro with different license that I bought exclusively in France, like Tony Parker, Nintendo, MTV, and Pokora, and many more. And we were doing more than 500,000 products all over France for the kid. So all that teach me, marketing, many different things. But I realized that my sport was still small, and I could not reach the big sport like soccer. And I thought I have to find a crazy idea, something huge, to be able to put my sport and my image higher. And the idea I found was quite crazy, was that one. To jump above the Seine in front of Notre Dame, to make a record like that on a symbol that represents the country, of course, there you are talking about something that is so big that it's reaching everybody. But then I had to get the authorization, so I built a team around me, paid 20,000 euro to create a file, work for months, 6 months, doing so many meetings. And unfortunately, after 6 months, the government said to me, sorry, it's impossible. But they didn't want to close the door, so they tell me, if you go to the Eiffel Tower, maybe it's possible. And since I see always things positive, I go to the Eiffel Tower, take all the crew with me, it's possible, pay the money, motivate everybody, do the meeting, and again present another file after 6 months. And I realized very fast that the event is going to cost about 1 million euro. It's very expensive, of course, I don't have the money. So I call sponsor and I find a sponsor. So that's great. But then the city is telling me, wait a second, that event is impossible to put any logo on the event. I say, but wait a second, how do you want me to find 1 million euro from sponsor if there is no logo? It's not our problem. So again, I was facing a wall. So since I've learned how to read contra, I start to check the text of the government, and I find a way. There's always a way. Sometimes you find it in one day, sometimes in 1 month, sometimes in 10 years. Fortunately, I found it fast. The technique I found say, okay, there's no logo on the event, but I can have it on myself. But €1,000,000 just for a logo on a T-shirt is expensive. Unless I control all the camera on the event. If I control all the camera, I can make sure that the event is filmed on a way that the logo appear, and I give all the footage free of right to all the TV around the world. And on the top of that, we even put on 3D some logo in the footage. Like that, I could say to the government, there won't be any logo on the side, and I could say to the sponsor, there will be logo for sure, since I control everything. The sponsors say yes, but unfortunately, the government say no. I received a letter from the mayor of Paris, and he said, I'm not allowed to touch the grass down the Eiffel Tower. And if I touch it, you can see on the letter, he said that I have to pay €200,000, but even though I'm not allowed to touch it. So what I do, everybody gave up. I had one more crazy idea, of course, to jump above a plane, I have many ideas, but didn't work. The sponsor gave up. So what I did, everybody gave up, the sponsor, the government, my partners, the TV, and I was alone in front of the Eiffel Tower that day, and I started to think. I end up a new mission. I was thinking, I have to find a way. And as I said, there's always a way. And the idea I found was that one, not to jump on the grass, but jump from the Eiffel Tower into the ramp. Okay, it's much harder, but why not? And when I call, the government say, you know what? It's forbidden to touch the Eiffel Tower. I said, but I need to jump from the Eiffel Tower. How can I not jump from it? They say, that's the law. You have to respect it, and I had to respect it. So again, I had to find a way, and the way I found was to put those two metal arms on the side that have an elevation platform that stop 30 centimeters from the Eiffel Tower. Like that, we have the illusion I jump from the Eiffel Tower, and I can hold the Eiffel Tower in my hand, but the structure is not on the Eiffel Tower. And like that, I drive them crazy. Since I had no more money, all those 3D files and stuff like that, I did it myself. I didn't sleep for weeks and just did everything myself, sent it to the mayor, to the city, and when normally we needed 6 months for a file, with 3-4 days without sleeping, I could give all the solution. For example, you don't block the street down? No problem, I put a bridge and I put the ramp higher, and so on, so always solution. So a few days after, I end up in the office of the mayor of Paris. And he had to admit, he said, man, it's true, it's possible. But if you want me to agree, you have to prove me that nothing will happen to you. How can I prove that? I mean, I'm going to jump from the Eiffel Tower from 40 meters above the ground. Nobody ever did that. But see, again, I had to respect his opinion. It's the mayor. If I kill myself, it's his responsibility. So I told him, I find a way. And the way I found was to do the jump 2,000 times before the event and send on a videotape every month 500 tries on the office of the mayor. Like that, he can be sure that I can control the jump. So after that, I got the incredible, normally it's impossible to get such an authorization, and I remember it was the 19th of November 2009, the authorization. But unfortunately, the sponsor told me we have budget restriction. I say, come on, now I have everything. They say, it depends one thing. We want to sponsor the World Cup. If the French soccer team, it's a true story, is not qualified for the World Cup, you got your budget. And I was probably the only French guy that day watching the match and hoping that the French team will lose. And it was the day when Thierry Henry put the hand and qualified the French team. So next day I lost the budget. And I became to a point I had to cancel the event. I didn't have enough money. And I had a sponsor contract personally for the year after for about €150,000. And I was thinking, and that was about the money missing. I was saying, money, I always can make money in my future. I'm young, money goes and comes, but jumping from the Eiffel Tower, achieving a dream, it's one in a life. So I didn't hesitate 1 second. I called the sponsor. I say, you know what, you have my image free for next year. Please give all the money to the event. So of course I lost that money, but I achieved my dream. And it was from far, far, far not a mistake. I never will regret it. And then we work it with 100 people, everybody will smile. Let me show you the video of the jump.
Et on commence ce journal par ce record du monde de saut en roller.
Le champ de Mars pour admirer un véritable exploit.
Taig Khris qui a battu un record de saut en rollers.
Du haut d'une plateforme située au niveau du premier étage de la Tour Eiffel.
C'est incroyable parce que j'attendais ce moment depuis 2 ans. Et c'est fou parce que se battre jour et nuit sans savoir si ce moment va arriver. Et là, voilà, là je suis là. Et je me demandais la sensation que j'aurais à ce moment-là où je vois tout le monde en bas. C'est tellement incroyable. Wow. C'est tellement incroyable. Wow.
Ça se passe de commentaires.
Franchement, merci à tous d'être là. Regardez, on va toucher la Tour Eiffel. Elle est là. La bonne vieille Tour Eiffel.
Quelle décontraction tout de même lorsqu'on se retrouve à plus de 38 mètres de haut.
Allez, je veux que tout le monde tape dans les mains. Encouragement. Allez, tout le monde. Just to finish, you know, I mean, when you see that story, every time I see it, I get emotion because I think it's a story that gives a lot of hope, you know, because you can start from down. It's just about how much you work and passion. So really never listen to people that tell you it's not possible or it's too hard, because it's not true. It's really not true. I'm not more talented than anybody else. Truly, my only talent is to dedicate when some other champion in my sport were doing 50 tricks to learn, I was doing 2,000. And that was really the secret. So the pessimist of knowledge doesn't prevent the optimist of the will. Thank you very much.